An escalating feud over a congressional speech by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It was not cleared by the White House. Now the New York Times is quoting an anonymous senior Obama administration official attacking the Israeli ambassador to the United States for allegedly putting politics ahead of the two countries' relationship. Trace Gallagher reports from our West Coast newsroom. Trace?
Megan, when the Israeli Prime Minister accepted House Speaker John Boehner's invitation to America without running it by President Obama, the White House went on the record calling it a departure from protocol. But it's crystal clear the upcoming trip has left the White House furious. A senior unnamed administration official is now openly venting to the New York Times, pointing fingers at Israeli ambassador to the U.S. Ron Dermer, saying Dermer helped orchestrate the invitation by Boehner and is putting Benjamin Netanyahu's political fortunes above the U.S.-Israeli relationship. Dermer, who was born in the U.S. and once served as a Republican political consultant, responded by saying he has no regrets and that he never meant to slight the White House but assumed the Speaker of the House would notify the president about Netanyahu's visit. The senior administration official also finds it odd that during a lengthy meeting with Secretary of State John Kerry, Dermer never mentioned the Netanyahu trip. Other critics of Ron Dermer accuse him of soiling his pad, but his supporters fire back, saying Dermer is doing his job by representing Israel's best interests. And if anyone has tried to undermine and embarrass the Israeli Prime Minister, it's this administration. The White House today said this. Listen.
The point is that this relationship between the United States and Israel is bigger than any single diplomat. In fact, it's an alliance that shouldn't be turned into a relationship between two political parties.
The president won't meet with Netanyahu in March, saying it's too close to Israeli elections and the White House doesn't want to appear to be taking sides.
Trace, thank you. And Ambassador Dermer says he has no regrets about representing his country as he has. Brit Hume joins us now. He's our Fox News senior political analyst. Brit, very good to see you tonight. And the question is, how much damage has been done here in all of this back and forth between our two countries?
This is a regular mess, Megan, no doubt about it, and it possibly could have been avoided if the Speaker of the House had notified the White House of the invitation to Netanyahu. The Speaker has a perfect right to extend the invitation. Mr. Netanyahu has a perfect right to accept. Normally, these things are done with the full knowledge and even possibly the approval of the administration in power. I suspect that Mr. Boehner felt that if he did go to the administration ahead of time, the administration would object, and he would be accused of having done this over the administration's objectives, which in his view, I think in his view was worse than what we have now. But what we have now is not a particularly nice situation in terms of U.S.-Israeli relations.
I realize that they got ticked off, right? They got ticked off at the White House. But what is with the ongoing, quote, anger and fury? That's how it was being reported over at MSNBC, that the White House is furious about this.
It's no secret, Megan, that the relationship between the president and Mr. Netanyahu has been tense and difficult. And I think what needed to happen here once we got to where we are or to where we were once the invitation became public, was the president needed to kind of put on his big boy pants and say, well, we'll welcome the Prime Minister to Washington and I'll look forward to meeting with him. That might have been smart from the president's point of view, because if Prime Minister Netanyahu was facing, after his speech to Congress, a visit with the president, he probably would have been a little loath to even indirectly criticize the administration on Capitol Hill, knowing he was going to sit down with the president within the next day or so. But the president obviously got annoyed, and the men around him, who were men and women around him, we don't know who this unnamed official was, just as who said these things about Ron Dermer, and you remember, Megan, earlier a senior administration official was quoted as saying that Benjamin Netanyahu was a chicken feed, although he didn't say feed, or she didn't say feed. So this is more of the same kind of thing that's been going on. This is a tumultuous and difficult relationship, and this situation isn't doing anything to improve it.
Brit, great to see you.
Thanks, Megan.
Well, this all comes just a day after Allah launched a deadly missile attack on Israeli forces, leaving 2 soldiers dead and more wounded. Israel retaliated, firing mortars and artillery into Lebanon, and 1 peacekeeper was killed. Our next guest was an eyewitness to that assault. Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North is a Fox News military analyst. He's live in Jerusalem tonight. Colonel, good to see you. And so your take from those on the ground, and I know you know a lot of people in the IDF over there, the Israeli Defense Forces, on their feel about, do they care? Are they following this rift?
Well, yes, I think people in Israel, this is a small country. It's under siege from Hamas in the south, Hezbollah in the north, as you just reported. We were eyewitnesses to the attack yesterday. 6 Kornet missiles. I counted at least 5 as the impacts came in on the Israeli patrol. Here's the important thing about that attack, by the way. The attackers are 2.5 to 3 kilometers inside Lebanon with so-called UNIFIL peacekeepers. Those who were hit are 2 kilometers inside Israel on a road that is used by both Israeli military and civilian traffic. And so what that all means is an attack on a sovereign country. That was going on as this tiff, if you will, in Washington, where people are dumping on the Israeli ambassador, trying to keep Netanyahu from coming to address the Congress. And what's important to the people of Israel is that 2 of their soldiers were killed, 1 of them an officer, 7 of them were wounded. We watched the Kazavak birds coming in, and the response wasn't a reprisal. It was to protect the helicopters coming in to evacuate the wounded. I think people are looking at what's occurring now politically as Obama is acting like a petulant child. He's detached from the reality of what's going on, both on the border, with Hamas, with Hezbollah. He is focused, in the case of Prime Minister Netanyahu, on the threat that is being posed by the possibility, and now even the likelihood, of an Iranian nuclear weapon.
But do you think they're listening to him? Do you think the Israelis want to know what our president thinks?
I think the Israeli people are quite fed up with Mr. Obama. I hear that routinely. It's almost as though that is a sidebar issue to the protection of Israel, and the determination is the outcome of an election that could be very, very important to their future. And they look at the White House as the ones who are interfering, and they're getting help from Hezbollah. This attack could not have happened yesterday were it not for Iran. Hezbollah doesn't go to the bathroom without checking with Tehran.
And that's their mission, is to destroy Israel. Before I let you go, I got to ask you, you have your wife there with you? It's one thing, you get shot at your whole life. You brought your wife into this?
Well, it was not intentional, and I don't accept any responsibility for the Iranian attack, but my wife is now an expert on whether it's incoming or outgoing rounds, and she and several of our friends who are with us also know how to drop, don't run in the midst of incoming.
Ollie, this is the kind of life you lead. Thanks for being here with the update.